Hello everyone. So this time I will be discussing with you the topic on how ethical standards are being formed. So we are living in a society wherein there are rules that we need to follow. There are policies that we need to abide, and there are social norms or standards of behaviors or values that we need to practice and conform with in order for us to develop the sense of belongingness in a political as an individual who is a member of a society. We have to undergo some stages in order for us to develop what we call ethical standards. So the question is, who establish these rules? It will always start inside the family because the family, as we all know, is the basic unit of the society. It is the most basic social institution where every rule should come from. If you are going to ask me who set the standards, well, basically in a certain family, it will be the household head who first set the standards or the rules that you are going to follow inside your houses or your homes. It would be always the parents. And when are these ethical standards being crafted or being created? When the need arises. Whenever there is a behavior which is not in conformity with what is expected from a certain person, then rules are being set. One example, class, is the curfew hour. If you are a student, usually there will be no curfew hours that your parents are going to give you. But when you start coming home from school late in the evening, instead of 5 o'clock, you will come home at 8 o'clock in the evening. Then your parents might as well give a rule that you should be inside the house at around 6 o'clock in the evening. And that is already setting rules inside your homes. Okay? So your need, the need to answer or resolve certain issues in your life or in our life, I should say, initiates, or what we call this, instigates the formation of what we call ethical standards. When we are born, it is considered that our minds are blank sheet, or what we call in science as tabula rasa. So it is a clean sheet of paper wherein nothing is being written on it. And as a person or an individual learns or start learning how to say words, how to crawl, how to walk, how to eat, then that is the time that these things or actions are being imprinted on that blank sheet. These are moral experiences. These experiences are starting to be embedded on one's mind. And that is what we call the reflective stage. So the first stage in the formation of an ethical standard is what we call the reflective stage. This is the stage wherein an individual is started to realize and distinguish his needs or biological needs from his wants and from his goals that he wanted to achieve. Okay? A person, as he matures, I should say, he starts also to identify his biological needs and distinguish it or disattach it from all his wants that he desires and set his goal in his life that he wanted to achieve in the near future. And how are these reflective, or how are these wants, needs, and goals are being realized? Then certain person goes to the second stage, what we call as performance of an act, whether it be a human act or an act of man. Is there a difference between a human act and an act of man? Yes, there is. We will learn that on the next videos or discussion. Okay? But what is important here that I wanted to emphasize with you is that after the reflective stage, you need to act in order for you to attain your needs, to attain your wants, or to get your wants, and to achieve your goals or aims in life. And that is by pursuing your goals, by performing an action. That's the second stage. Realizing your goals, realizing how are you going to perform in order for you to achieve your needs and to get your wants. Okay? We are not going to identify yet whether it is an act of man or a human act. You might as well interchange these two concepts because there is a similar factor on them, and that is the doer of the action. Okay? The same person can do both acts, human act or an act of man. Okay, now after realizing your need and your want and performing actions in order to achieve these goals or needs or get your wants, then you have to create or form what we call standards for you to follow in the achievement of your goal. Okay? So, simply put, when you are a baby, what is your need? You need milk. Okay? In order for you to satisfy that need, you need to drink milk from your mother. Okay? It could be a breastfeeding or it could be a bottle feeding. The action of drinking the milk is what we call your performance or your pursuit of your goal. And your goal, of course, was set with that you have to feed yourself or you have to feed your hunger. Okay? Now, you must have realized that in your actions of drinking that particular milk to feed yourself, you must be gentle. And setting yourself to be gentle in doing or in performing that act of drinking milk is already your ethical standards. You are going to practice that and form that as a habit or a hobby every time you're going to drink milk, that you need to be gentle. Okay? Because you develop that already as your standard of feeding yourself. That is an example, class, of how ethical standards are being formed. Okay, let's go into the real examples. Identify your need as a student. What is your need as a student? You need books. You need to study. Okay? What is your aim? You aim to graduate, maybe with honors, or your ultimate dream is to have a job later by graduating from college. Okay? In order for you to attain that goal, what human action or act of man are you going to do? You need to study hard. You need to do all your activities. You need to listen to uploaded audio files or video files. You need to do your own research. You need to strive harder to review every time and then in order for you to get a high score during activities and during exams. That is your performance of an act. And in doing those things, class, you are developing your moral codes or what we call your ethical standards. How? You would, in the course of studying, you will be developing your own standard of study habit. You are going to set your body clock that I am going to wake up in this time, and this is the time for me to study at least 2 hours a day. Okay? And if you do that in your routine every time and then you are developing that as your ethical standard. So later on, when you are in 4th year and there is an exam a week before the exam, okay, you will go back to these ethical standards. You know very much that it is unethical for a student not to study his lessons. You know very much that what is ethical for students like you is to do your own research, to do your activities, to submit your quizzes on time. Okay? You develop the ethical standards, the moral codes, the codes or the rules that you need to follow. Okay? I hope you get that. That's how ethical standards are being formed. Even laws in our country, that is also the way that laws are being enacted or laws are being crafted by the legal frameworks.